Hey, how's it going? I want to do a quick update on the cabinets here. So I just finished getting all the lowers in there, and you can see I've gone around and I've carefully gotten an equal gap on all of the cabinets here, all the drawers I should say. Making sure everything is lined up and straight and clean and all the drawers line up to each other. I obviously put the handles in a while ago, otherwise I'd show you how I did that, but I used a template. I was very, very careful, made a very accurate template with some acrylic, and I used that to drill all these so they would be consistent. It'd be kind of hard if you just measured each one. You'd probably start making a mistake eventually. So that's how I did the handles, and the same thing on the knobs. We used a template for that. But yeah, so here's the nearly finished area. So obviously I've got side panels on the end. These again are just IKEA doors that happen to fit the width of the cabinets, if you take a look. And I think it looks pretty good. Once it gets painted, it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna give it that shaker kind of raised paint, or kind of a shaker look. So those should look pretty good once we get those things painted. And then obviously this is just a plywood top. We're gonna use an actual quartz, like right over here. So it'll be a lot thicker than this plywood top that's on there. That's just temporary. So two things I wanted to show real quick that kind of help. Obviously I haven't shown how to build the cabinets. That's kind of a prerequisite. If you can't put together IKEA furniture, I'm not sure I'd take on a kitchen. But yeah, you put the cabinets together, and then the adjustment. So obviously I had to adjust all these so everything would be, right in line like this. And what's really nice is on these drawers, you can adjust the height on both sides. And then you can also adjust where it is left to right. So if your drawer needs to come over a little bit, you can adjust that. On the larger size drawers, you can actually adjust the pitch of the front of the drawer, and I'll show you how that works. And I wouldn't mess around with it, but you can actually adjust the dampener speed, how hard the dampener pulls in and what speed it pulls into, which I'm not going to show you how to do. It's on the back of the cabinet here, and it'd be kind of hard to show you, but I'll show you the other three here because they're easy to show you. So the smaller drawers are a little less complicated than the larger drawers, so I'm going to show you the larger drawer. It's a little more complicated. Obviously we've got lights in there, so that's looking good. And let me put the little tripod down and I'll show you how this works. All right, let's get a good position there. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So this drawer, just like the uppers, has this little panel that you put on, and it can pop out here. And there are a couple little screws in here. This screw towards the back is a lopsided cam. And what it does is it raises the side and then lowers it. So if you keep spinning it, it's just gonna keep going off center, and it'll raise it and lower it, raise it and lower it. This one right here adjusts the drawer this direction. So this one adjusts the drawer, so if you need to move it that direction a little bit to get them to line up smooth on the side, then you can turn that one. If you actually look on it, as you turn, let me see here. As you turn counterclockwise, it goes right, and as you turn clockwise, it'll move the drawer left. The other adjustment, and this is only on the larger drawers, if you pop this little panel back, this allows you to adjust the tilt of the door. So what that does is it allows you to adjust the way the door tilts forward or tilts backwards. As you turn this counterclockwise, it's gonna pull it back, and that'll cause the door, if it's like this, it'll cause it to start leaning in. If you adjust it clockwise, looking from the front, it tips it out. So with just those three adjustments, you really can get the drawer pretty much perfect. The dampener mechanism is kind of harder to get to. It's in the back of the drawer, and you can actually adjust the speed of the dampener, but they're usually pretty good from the factory. Finally, if you can see in here, you can raise a little section in here and turn this, and you can actually pop off the front of the door. And that's a cam mechanism. I did that when I was painting. But then when you get done, you can put these little slides back over, and it works great. So that's the drawer adjustment. And once you got your drawers all happy, then it's ready to put on the kick plate here. So let me show you how I did my kick plate. So I've got a pretty typical situation, which I've got a corner, an interior corner, and I have an exterior corner. So this is gonna require 3 pieces of kick plate. Now this interior corner here is where I'm gonna start. I like to start up against something like a stove where I know I'm not gonna be moving that, and I want that as a fixed point. So in reference to the stove, and you can see way back in there is the wiring that's running all the lights. I know it looks a little weird that it's just hanging down there on the floor, but actually that's good because from the front, by just taking down those kick plates, I can get in there and I can actually unplug a wire and reroute a new wire in case one of these little lights burns out or the sensing mechanism goes bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this little kick plate on here. Now, when I cut my kick plates, I'm just using the standard white one. I actually put a little bit of tape on there and then I cut through the tape. That's just a carpenter trick. If you're gonna cut something that you want a really nice clean edge, you put tape on it and then you cut it. That keeps any tear out from happening on this kick plate. Now, as we talked about, I've already modified those feet and I put on these little barrels. So that's not from IKEA, you kind of have to make those yourself. And then when I put my kick plate on, I found that the side with this little squeegee, they want that on the bottom. That actually doesn't look good because it ends up pushing the kick plate up and you see a little gap underneath it. So I'm using the side that's clean that would normally go on the top. I put my little clips in there and I'll put the first kick plate in. So there you go. So first kick plate's in. Now what I did is I kept that extra long. So this piece is longer than where this one's gonna hit. I don't need a perfect edge in there. Overlap is just fine on an inside edge because you're not gonna see that. So this other kick plate is actually gonna dead end into this one before the edge. So let me show you how that one looks. Come back a little bit, make it easier to see. So again, I'm using the squeegee side up, put this on. All right. So now if you can see this inside edge, it overlaps. And it's nice because if this was to move, there's plenty of material back there so that it's never gonna get exposed. I just think that's a whole lot easier. Also, something I'm gonna show you in a minute here, but the depth here is very important. You wanna have it far enough under there that you can't see the little tiny gap at the top. So I'm gonna go put the last piece on. Now, before I do that, let's get it down here where I can show you this. There's actually, let me pop this off. I put this little plastic piece on the end. So that piece has a little interior groove here. I'm gonna pop this plate here on that I cut, and then I'm gonna push this over and it's gonna hide my little seam on the corner. The other thing I did is this is a vinyl floor piece that you would use in like an industrial setting, like an office. I use that on the inside to keep a nice clean edge. Then this kick plate goes right here and you can see this little line where I marked it. And then on the outside, I'm gonna put nicer trim. So let me show you how this piece goes on. Again, squeegee side up. Put this in position. Now for cutting this, it's a little bit of trial and error. I just kind of sneak up on it. But you see now I've got my piece right up against that little plastic thing on the bottom. And then watch what happens here. So when I push this over, it's gonna almost, there you go. See how it overlapped? So that overlaps there. Now on the inside, one thing to note is the little grabbers are upside down on this piece so they can clear. Because this leg it's grabbing from this side and this side, so they have to be flipped in order to do that. So, there we go. Kick plates in, drawers are in, uppers are done. Just need some paint and some countertops. I'm gonna start over on this side, and I probably won't video too much of this, but I'm gonna probably show how I put the dishwasher and the sink in, because the sink is kind of unique. And we'll pick it up from there. Also, I did a little pot, I don't know what you call it, pan piece that I made out of some IKEA scrap, and I'll show you how I made that. So I'll probably do a video on that, and that'll be next, probably in the next couple weeks. Thanks so much. Hope that helps.